Okay, daily coaching and accountability partners, David Halpert of Mastery Consulting here with literally one of my all-time favorite topics. Are you ready? This is a time management topic for business owners. This is for higher level business thinkers. Oh, I love this stuff. Are you ready? Here we go. Busyness is actually a form of laziness, stemming from lazy thinking and indiscriminate action. Busyness is actually a form of laziness, which stems from lazy thinking and indiscriminate action. Most people I know keep themselves busy with all kinds of garbage during the course of the business day. Forget about trying to stay in income producing activities. Most people I know spend half their time in not only non-income producing activities, but literally activities that will create such a terrible energy about you that is impossible with which to build a business. The objective in business, I know we all forgot this a long time ago, is to actually make more and work a little bit less by engaging the power of leverage, which means small investment, high return. So this topic of busyness is really a form of laziness, leads us into a couple principles of time management from a businessman and a businesswoman's perspective. Let me give you just a couple of principles here. Are you ready? Number one, interest and energy are cyclical. We need alternating periods of work and rest. You and I cannot do this 10x, 20x, 100x thing and expect to build great big businesses. Yeah, you need to do that in order to get to six figures. But beyond that, you are toast if you don't understand that you can't 20, 40x your way, or whatever you want to call it, into making even more money than six figures. You can't. Interest and energy, you know what happens when you say, oh, I've built a decent business, but I know the only thing I understand is if I want to make more, I got to even work harder. What happens when you do that is you find yourself getting burnout. It affects your family life, your health, etc. And what you realize was what you got you from point A to point B in business is not what gets you from point B to point C. It's a real challenge. So what you need to understand is interest and energy is cyclical. You need times to rest, to breathe, to think, and to lever. Okay, second principle. Less is not laziness. But the problem is our society honors self-sacrifice more than personal effectiveness. I mean, dying for your country is an honor. Don't get me wrong, from a military perspective, of course I honor that. But I mean, what I'm talking about in business, we think that we're supposed to self-sacrifice and kill ourselves to be successful. We honor that as a theory or as a principle in our society, which is ridiculous. What we don't seem to honor is effectiveness, getting things done much more powerfully with less effort. But that's what it takes to run a great business. So less is not laziness. Number three, the timing is never right. Whatever you want to do someday, just do it now, for Pete's sakes. I have a client that I'm working with who always wanted to be involved in maybe building an orphanage in one or two countries in Africa and have her kids involved in the project. And I told her I don't like the idea. And she said, what do you mean you don't like that? I'm like, I don't like the idea. She's like, I never heard anybody in my life say I don't like that idea. And I said, I can't stand it. Because if it's not something you're going to be engaged in right now, I think it's just la la land fantasy. So she started actually taking more action as a volunteer in a local orphanage with her kids being involved. How wonderful is that, right? If the timing is never right, whatever you want to do someday, just do it now. Number four, emphasize strengths, don't fix weaknesses. Emphasizing strengths has a multiplier effect, an exponential effect in business. But trying to fix weaknesses at best can only incrementally improve your business, right? My daughter, I may have told this story to some of you. My daughter had straight A's and at midway mark point last year had a B in math. So we did what every great parent does. We went out there and we paid for yes, you guessed it, a tutor. And she spent more time engaged in math than ever before. And she ended up pulling out an A on the report card. How stupid is that? I mean, if you think about it, it's ridiculous. We're teaching her to spend her time in something she's not going to use later on as a vocation or passion, when she's wonderful and exceptional at piano, ballet, art. She's kind of, right-brained, I guess, as opposed to left-brained. I mean, she's exceptional in certain disciplines. She has a gift for counseling people. She's almost like the mini-me, if you will, in our family, right? Not from a personal perspective, but we're teaching her to spend her time in areas of weakness. In business, that's a disaster. That's a financial disaster when you do that. You need to spend time in your gifts and delegate out the rest. Or as Peter Drucker used to say, do what you do best and outsource the rest. Fifth principle here. In this less is not laziness, busyness is a form of laziness. Ready? Relative income is more important than absolute income. What are we talking about? Relative income. What does that mean? If you're working 20 hours a week and making $50,000 a year, good for you. And then here I am making 100K and I'm working 80 hours a week. I'm sorry, a week, not a year. Which would you rather be? And I know a lot of you are saying, well, of course, I'd rather only work 20 hours. BS. Most of you would rather make the 100K and you have no idea about it. Listen to me carefully. Everyone on watching this video, you should desperately want to be the person working the 20-hour work week, even though you're making half, because the 80-hour a week person has proven that they do not understand leverage in any form. They are all sweat equity and do not know how to leverage and scale. And what I mean by that is they have no opportunity to increase their business whatsoever. It is impossible. But the 20-hour a week person has the time to breathe, to think, and to lever. And with less than 80 hours a week, they'll be making significantly more income than I would in this example. Does that make sense? Relative income is far more powerful than absolute income. Okay, folks, my question for you today. Understanding this time management principle from an entrepreneur's perspective, a business owner's perspective of make more, work less. What one concept caught your attention the most today?